when there's contact and he's trying to draw foul, normally you let the other guy, make contact with you. Instead, he just flails his arms. He flails his legs. I mean, how many times have we seen this? And how many times have we had these conversations on this show? I've lost track. We've been here for 11 years now. This is our 11th year.
Wow.
Did we not go on the air and talk about how he, was sitting there with Marshawn Lynch during an A's game across the street from when they were playing in Oakland, an NBA Finals game against the Cavs, who he let back into the series because he hit the crown jewels of King James. The light the beam Kings got some extra life because he stepped on Sabonis' stomach. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. We could run it back. And we do run it back now, again, because he picked up his 5th technical. Apparently, from what I saw on the social media feeds, he's riding an exercise bike in a tunnel. Can we find a different spot for him to ride an exercise bike?
There's no other place to put them.
I don't know, man. It just seems like, he's riding an exercise bike and he's hearing it from the crowd, and apparently somebody slurred him. And there's no place for that sort of behavior ever, anywhere. I mean, you may not like the guy and the way that he goes about his business, but guy's still a human being and clearly with flaws that he can't seem to comport himself in the most important parts of the season in the biggest games. And everybody's talking about what he had to say afterwards, where we don't know the question that was asked, right? This is something that we're going to bring up in a second.
Yeah, we don't know where it came from. It just, get this soundbite. Kind
of setting the stage where it's another situation where he gets teed up, and he deserved the tee. I mean,
without question.
It just clocked Nas Reed right in the grill. I mean, and again, in a manner in which you can't control your arms that way. When you're a Hall of Fame athlete,
you're
like
far too athletic to be so uncoordinated. It
looks like a marionette, right? Where you can't just.
Yeah, looks like the media when Jerry Jones is at controls.
This guy right over there,
Geppetto.
At any rate, this is the soundbite that is certainly leading every sportscast today.
I'm not an angry black man. I'm a very successful, educated black man with a great family. And I'm great at basketball. I'm great at what I do. The agenda to try to keep making me look like an angry black man is crazy. I'm sick of it. It's ridiculous.
Well, I don't. Who is he thinking the agenda is with? Is it the league? Is it the officials? Is it us and the media? What's the agenda?
That's a great question.
Again, I didn't even mention clocking Jordan Poole in his own training camp practice, right? I mean, preseason. I didn't even mention that.
Yep.
While this soundbite was being delivered, or prior to it, because I don't think Steve Kerr knew this is what he was saying. Kerr was asked about the technical foul that was picked up by Draymond early in a game with Steph Curry being out.
He's going to have to stay composed. Obviously, we need him. I'm confident that he will because he knows the circumstances.
Were you frustrated or disappointed given how poised he's been the last couple games? How much he seemed to lose it a little bit tonight?
It's part of Draymond. The same thing that makes him such a competitor and a winner puts him over the top sometimes, and we know that, and it's our job to try to help him. Stay poised, stay composed. But the competition is so meaningful to him that occasionally he goes over the line.
Again, we always try to be as fair as possible here. Apparently, Draymond, I was just looking it up over and over again prior to the show, and just now during that soundbite. Apparently that was his statement when reporters went to his locker there was no question. He just said what he said and then walked away.
Wow.
And then on top of it, a fan was ejected from the game, from the arena. Whoever said what he or she said to Draymond while he's riding the exercise bike. And ESPN's article on it, on ESPN.com, is referring to that a fan was ejected for directing a racial slur at Green. So got to keep that in your mind's eye as Draymond is speaking. And what could be clanking around his brain.
Yeah.
And again, he could, as he said, a family man. We see it on a commercial, him retrieving the basketball against the Wolves, interestingly enough. And we also see what he does on the court. Guy's going to the Hall of Fame.
Which you say
Guy
all the
is
time.
Going
this is
to the Hall of Fame. There will be a day where he is in Springfield, Massachusetts, and he's getting his due. It's going to happen. But he will always be remembered for when he tries to sell a foul call and the contact is made, that there is an extra arm that goes, an extra leg that goes, that appears to be controllable. Every time. Almost every time, if you want to give him any benefits of the doubt. It's like 99 out of 100 times. You look at it, go, you couldn't have stopped your leg here. It had to keep going there into that sensitive area of your opponent. You couldn't have let go of Rudy Gobert's neck at this point in time.
that was a long choke.
Right? I mean, it always seems to be a prolonged act that appears to be an act of somebody who cannot control themselves. And that there has to be some sort of moment where a Hall of Fame athlete, somebody who is, as he said, well-educated at Michigan State, should realize, like, I am putting the team in jeopardy and I need to do better. But maybe this is what riles him up to the point where he is, in fact, a Hall of Fame athlete. I don't know. This is the conundrum of Draymond that we've been talking about now for a decade. He's 2 technical fouls away from getting the dreaded 1-game suspension. So he's got one more, right? He's got one more foul to give, one more technical foul to give.
Well, he's going to use it.
He's got one more to give. And then the second one, he's in the non-bonus. And with Steph Curry out, you know, you got one more in you. Get it out of the way. You know, the home fans will probably be there to verbally support him. Certainly won't be ejected for saying what the Timberwolves fans said.
For sure.
But I mean, you're just changing the proper noun and the technical foul circumstances and the body part of the opponent that he's violating and the opponent's name and the year and the date. It's the same Mad Lib. We're just changing the other proper nouns and everything else. And it's just, and this is the other part of his Hall of Fame talent, or proof of it. If he didn't have it, you think he'd have been cut? How long ago would they have cut him?
Years ago.
How many teams has, say, just for instance, Dylan Brooks been on?
Right.
And that's the thing. Is I'm not the biggest Draymond fan, but I do appreciate the skill that he brings. And
He's an unbelievable skill.
but he's one of
Passing, rebounding, shooting.
And he's one of those guys, if he's your guy, you probably love him, and then the other 29 teams absolutely hate him. I think the biggest thing that I have issue with what he said is agenda. So that makes it seem like there's a collective conspiracy, if you will, to portray him in a certain manner when we're just commenting on what we see on the court. And then that's you behaving like a madman night in and night out and seemingly costing your team and affecting the outcome of games. And it's just not good. It's not good one way or the other, whether, whatever he thinks, it's not good.
And again, though, just to say here, which is why, you're a white guy saying it, and so am I. And so he's bringing in this aspect of the conversation, which we don't have the lifelong depth to comment on.
Sure, but there's three
So-
African-American men every night on the NBA on Turner set who have been saying the same thing about Draymond for years.
And two of them he's going to share a hall room with. You want to say, you have anything you want to add, TJ?
Like I said before the show, it was all about context. Like, where did this come from? Was it, and now you're saying it was just a standalone statement. Again, not knowing.
He did. It was, but there was a word thrown at him during the game that caused someone to be ejected that could absolutely put in his mind's eye these words to come out of his body.
Look, I'm no fan of the way Draymond acts on the court, as we've talked about. I'm in total agreement with you. The constant complaining and yelling and, the extra movements and limbs flailing, I'm not a fan of that. So if someone who doesn't know anything about him will look at him and see him yapping at the officials, you might think that this guy's angry, right? But when you throw in the whole angry black man thing, that's a whole nother thing we're looking at, because now you're going to have other players who are looking as just simply tough guys or gritty, and then with him, he plays angry. So it's kind of it's a steep slope that you're going down. But again, not knowing what was said to him at that moment to make him go off, but the way he plays, the way he acts on the court, it gives something. I don't know what it gives. Like Chris says, it's something that doesn't help his team in certain situations, but I don't want to that phrasing of what he said, that can take you down a path where, I'm not Draymond. I don't know Draymond. I don't know what he goes through. I don't know what is said to him. I just know we know him for 48 minutes, 82 times a year. Well, we don't know the guy with his daughter.
We also see his podcast.
Yeah,
we see all that sort of stuff. Right.
So,
So there's a face front that we always judge. In terms of the basketball aspect of it, he's got an incredible ability to facilitate. And we saw that from the beginning of his career, where he's used sometimes as the point forward, right?
Yeah, for early on, for sure.
Right. And certainly he's been forced on occasion to distribute because Steph is running around trying to
get open,
yeah. Right? So the point guard needs to sometimes have some help to get open, and the guy who can facilitate, being a man of his size at the position he plays, is next level. Like, that's kind of a unicorn also. Right? The way that he can distribute, the way he can facilitate, the way he can rebound, the way that he can get in somebody else's face and wind up the opponent, the way that sometimes, they leave him wide open.
Mm-hmm.
He made 4 threes.
Yeah, he made those in game one.
So he's got these Hall of Fame abilities, but he does not bring on it, from what appears, a Hall of Fame ability to know where the line is. And a stroll right up to it. And maybe if you do cross it, it's done so subtly, you can't be called on it.
Which just seems like a Rodman thing, right? He was kind of subtle with his shoves, but Draymond is more like,
bam.
And Rodman was more like, give that to you.
It's as if it gives off the impression he does not care to comport himself. And that's got to flip out his coach and his teammates on occasion, but they also know he's the guy that they need on the court. Certainly with Steph out for the foreseeable future, with the first strained muscle injury of his career. So there's uncharted waters for him. And he's two technicals and or 2 flagrant fouls away from a suspension. He's got 1 to give in each department. And he's got to bring some Hall of Fame comportment, is my opinion. And I would say that about anybody who has a history on the court of these flagrant violations.
Yeah.
Anybody. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.